I feel highly exhilarated to welcome you to this special session marking the commencement of the 2022-2023 legal year. I'm very much passionate about this occasion because it is the first legal year ceremony that I am presiding over as the Chief Justice of Nigeria. The topsy-turvy that took the center stage of the last year was quite intriguing. For the first time in the history of the Nigerian judiciary, we had different kinds of events that not only beat our imagination, but equally shaped and recalibrated the entire architecture of the justice sector. As we rightly know, in everything that happens in life, we must always give thanks to God Almighty, who has chosen us to either be participants in the process or spectators of the process. Nothing certainly happens by mere coincidence. Everything that comes into being is divinely ordained by God. My advice to everyone is to always brace up to face the challenges that nature throws at us at every twist and turn of our lives. The prosperity of the Nigerian judiciary is the responsibility of all of us. We must not shy away from the challenges staring us in the face, because if the judiciary fails, there will certainly be no country to call Nigeria. Those wishing us bad and even engaging in different forms of unwholesome conduct to sink the ship will certainly not be comfortable with the likely results that will emerge from such unpatriotic effort. Nigeria is a project in our hands that must be collectively nurtured to prosperity and El Dorado. We cannot run away from those vices that confront us as a nation. Rather, we have to fasten our belt and face them head-on. The inspiring words of Sir Winston Churchill, the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from 1940 to 45, should always play out in our consciousness whenever we seem to be confronted by aculine situations like those that beclouded the court in the outgone legal year. According to him, never believe any war will be smooth and easy, or that anyone who embarks on the voyage can measure the tides and hurricanes he will encounter. The statesman who yields to war fever, must realize that once the signal is given, is no longer the master of policy, but the slave of unforeseen and uncontrollable events. Close watchers of the various events that dotted the outgone legal year will readily agree with me that we all became slaves and victims of so many unforeseen and uncontrollable events and circumstances that were freely unleashed on us. We have been made to understand and appreciate the fact that no one, no matter how powerful he or she is, that can stay the hand of destiny. It is my fervent belief that everything we saw and experienced as an institution a few months ago were destined to happen, hence they did. The good thing about it is that we all came out unscathed and are working assiduously to upscale our zeal and commitment to the growth and prosperity of the Nigerian judiciary, and equally make it a pride to showcase to the Committee of Nations. We have hit the ground running, and I can assure the entire nation that nothing will be left to chance, and no ground will be left uncovered. Litigants across the various courts in the Federation should be rest assured that their cases will be given due attention, as we will not rest on our horse to ensure that justice is served at the doorstep of everyone that seeks for and equally deserves it. Though an occasion of this nature calls for celebration, nevertheless, we must, as a matter of necessity, spare a moment of our time for introspection in order to ruminate on all the events that took place in the past year. From all indications, The voyage thus far couldn't have been adjudged to be smooth. However, the good thing is that it has been tremendously adventurous and instructive. In those areas we have excelled, we will put in our best to raise the tempo, while in the areas of shortcomings, we shall do a quick self-assessment with a view to forging ahead with the right vision and mindset. From a holistic assessment, the Supreme Court, and by extension the Nigerian Judiciary, has fared well in the outgone year, even though the horizon was blighted by some unpleasant challenges that radically defile every imaginable human intervention. The intercessions, admonitions, and support of well-meaning Nigerians had largely offered us the required impetus and courage to remain firm and resolute in making an indelible mark in the sands of time. As the new legal year unfolds, we look forward to putting in place a judiciary that will certainly be the pride of Nigerians, home and abroad. As we relish the successes and attained in the past year, we also pray for more in this legal year. The 2021-2022 legal year, which ended on Friday, the 20th July 2022, was roundly remarkable. I was appointed in acting capacity on Monday, the 27th of June 2022, after the voluntary retirement of the immediate past Chief Justice of Nigeria, Honorable Dr. Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad, GCON, on earth ground. As usual, several unsubstantiated rumors and falsehoods rented a better part of the airwaves to misinterpret the events that eventually eroded the voluntary retirement of my predecessor. I would like to make it clear at this occasion that there has never been any division at the Supreme Court, and there will never be any. We are seasoned judicial officers at the highest echelon of the Nigerian Judiciary that always engage impregnable internal administrative mechanisms to accommodate and address our diverse views. All communications within the system are done through internal memos, and that was exactly what was done. So, the misleading information that widely made rounds about, quote, protest letter, quote, is not only strange but unfounded. Nevertheless, the confidentiality we have always been suffering as brother justices still remains intact, and we are glad to let the world know that we are enjoying it. By virtue of this special court session, we are, for the open time, assuring all Nigerians that we are more than ever before committed to serving you to the best of our ability in this new legal year. Even if it requires us stretching ourselves and available resources beyond limit, we will graciously oblige that. The times we are in are quite perilous. All hands must be on deck to make the best out of the unpleasant situation. The rate of high-caliber crimes in the land is increasing by the day. Never in the history of Nigeria have we experienced such before. Security of lives and property can no longer be guaranteed, and as this is happening, so are cases streaming freely into the courts for adjudication. That has made the task before us more daunting. No one can afford to sit on the fence. At this crucial point, we have found ourselves. To our fellow judicial officers across the various strata of courts, I urge you to be on guard and be the master of the game. You cannot afford to put up any lackadaisical attitude at this crucial period of our national history. Some politicians may be on the prowl looking for who to entrap in their usual dragnet of political stratagem. You must not fall for it, and you must not allow yourselves to be used. As the sledgehammer of justice will descend heavily on whoever does. Always remember that the moment the food in the clean bowl is finished, the status of the bowl changes to death. Don't allow anyone to use and dump you. Let your conscience be your guide and guard. You must apply the law rightly on all matters that come before your lordships. You should always see yourselves as being eminently qualified to take charge of every situation or challenge that confronts you. Don't allow the soft spot in you that may easily fall for material lust blight your emotions and power of resistance. As usual, as judicial officers, we must imbibe the culture of conservatism and live a life of solitude to avoid any company or communication that will corrupt our good manners and violate our judicial oath. I am a team player, a compassionate leader, an ardent listener who will never wish away any suggestions and advice that may come from my brother justices, other judicial officers, lawyers, and members of the public, particularly those that bear the progress and growth of the Nigerian judiciary in their hearts. We are open to constructive admonitions and criticism. We cannot afford to be a recluse unto ourselves. Whenever you see us going wrong, kindly draw our attention to it, and the necessary amends will be made. No one can claim to be a paragon of virtue, so we are equally not cast in that mold either. My ascension to the office is to better the lot of the Nigerian judiciary by upholding the sanctity of the rule of law and the Nigerian Constitution, which I had sworn to protect even with my last drop of blood. In the course of time, you will begin to see the face of the new invigorated Nigerian judiciary that is posed to reposition everything that needs repositioning for better and timely justice delivery. The onus rests squarely on all of us to make this country great again in whatever form that we can bring about the desired change. Also, within the legal year under review, some of our brother justices retire from the Supreme Court bench. Honorable Justice Mary Peter Odili, JSC, bowed out on Thursday, the 12th of May, 2022, while Honorable Justice Ejembi Eko, JSC, immediately followed on Monday, 23rd May, 2022. Honorable Justice Abdul Aboki, JSC, who just got into the Supreme Court on the 6th of November, 2020, followed suit by equally bowing out on Friday, the 5th of August, 2022, having also attained the mandatory retirement age of 70 years. The valedictory court session to honor his lordship was, however, held on Thursday, 15 September 2022, as a result of our annual recess. Their lordships' enormous contributions and indelible works in the Nigerian judiciary, which were well eulogized and celebrated at the various ceremonies held in their honor, will, for a very long time to come, remain as reference points in our jurisdiction. We are seriously missing them already, even though they just exited not long ago, because they have put in their best to build and sustain a high reputation that will continually make us unique and proud as the judicial officers. The Corruption and Financial Crime Cases Trial Monitoring Committee, COTRIMCO, under the leadership of Honorable Justice Sulaiman Galadima, CFR, JSC, retired, has been very active in fast-tracking the trial of corruption and financial-related crimes in the country. They have been working closely with the various anti-graft agencies in the country to accelerate the trial of all pending and emerging corruption cases. Their unwavering commitment to that cause has largely helped to bring about a remarkable rise in the dispensation of corruption and financial crime cases in the country. Between October 2021 and September 2022, a total number of 3,563 convictions were made through the collaborative effort of the committee. There were equally large number of forfeited cash and non-cash recoveries made within the period. Also, within the window offered by the 2021-2022 legal year, the Supreme Court entertained a total number of 1,764 cases, comprising of motions and appeals. Out of these, we had 816 civil, 370 criminal, and 16 political matters, making a total of 1,202 motions in all. Similarly, the court considered a total number of 562 appeals, comprising of 341 civil, 186 criminal, and 35 political. A total number of 154 judgments were delivered in the year. Our pending backlog civil appeals are 4,741, while the number of pending backlog criminal appeals is 1,392. On the other hand, we have 751 moribund appeals for disposal. That brings the total number of pending backlog appeals in this honorable court to 6,884. Out of the 4,741 appeals in the court's docket, 1,495 have briefs filed and exchanged and are ready for hearing, whereas the remaining 3,246 appeals are having about 10,000 motions, with some contentious and others innocuous in nature. As for the pending 1,392 criminal appeals, 461 already had briefs filed and exchanged and are ready for hearing. The remaining 931 appeals have about 2,000 different motions for hearing to determine their eligibility for hearing. However, the identified 751 moribund appeals are to be disposed of for non-compliance with the Supreme Court rules. That is our Order 8, Rule 8. This core card, from all indications, is impressively fascinating. I attribute the tremendous success recorded to the doggedness and team spirit exhibited by my brother justices and the general staff of the court. We have equally upgraded our courtrooms to a very high standard with modern communication and information technology gadgets to fast-track the dispensation of justice. Our various courtrooms, particularly Court 1 and Court 2, are now fully automated to facilitate online real-time proceedings where virtual sittings could be done seamlessly. We have made some deployment of state-of-the-art technology to computerize the courts to enable lawyers to easily front-load and cross-load evidence and exhibits of cases to accelerate the process of hearing cases. In the same vein, we have started the process of building the capacity of our stenographers to understand all the technical terms that will enhance their capacity to effectively carry out verbatim transcription of all submissions and judicial decisions made by the court. Available facts on judicial activities in various jurisdictions across the globe still emphatically confirm that Supreme Court of Nigeria remains the busiest and most hardworking Supreme Court in the world. It is on record that we work from Monday to Friday every week. We conduct sittings on a daily basis. It's only on Wednesdays we do chamber sitting to consider non-contentious matters. On Fridays, we deliver judgments and rulings. I remain eternally grateful to the Almighty God for strengthening and giving us the tenacity to accomplish the much we do on a yearly basis. We are humans and equally have blood running through our veins. If no one praises us, we have the inalienable right and obligation to praise and eulogize ourselves. Self-praise is no villa an offense than self-denial. Even with the meager resources at our disposal, we still strive to achieve so much and cover enormous grounds, at least to justify our passion to serve this country to the best of our ability. To my learned brother justices and our support staff, I thank you immensely for the unflinching commitment and support towards the realization of our collective goals. With this strong team on ground, the future can only get better and more prosperous for the Nigerian judiciary and, by extension, the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Even as we celebrate the huge successes recorded in the past legal year in the disposal of cases, the Nigerian public needs to be reminded on the need to do less litigation and embrace more of alternative dispute resolution to free the cost of this unnecessary overstretching of human and material resources. As rightly observed, Nigerians are the most litigious people on earth, especially the political class. We don't need to rush to court after every little disagreement. We have various alternative dispute resolution mechanisms across the country that we can conveniently leverage on, with a view to freeing the courts of this incessant case overloaded. In every little disagreement, we rush to court. And in every lost case, we rush to appeal, even up to the Supreme Court. No matter how little the issue might be, that has obviously accounted for the several appeals pending in Supreme Court. Though we receive scathing criticism from members of the public over our over-bloated docket, we are neither in any position to regulate case inflow to the court, nor have the supernatural powers to attend to all in one fell swoop. We have said it repeatedly that ordinarily, most appeals should be allowed to end at the Court of Appeal, but such constitutional provision is yet to be enacted, so we have no blame in it. Rather, we are daily overburdened by that long-awaited constitutional amendment as we walk around the clock to attend to the plethora of appeals. There should also be amendment of the Constitution to stop most interlocutory appeals from coming to the Supreme Court. They should be allowed to end at the Court of Appeal. The attitude of some of our lawyers, too, is exciting. Some do not even mind throwing their integrity and reputation to the winds by taking briefs that they know lack substance, just for pecuniary reasons. So disturbing is the fact that even in the face of failure, they will still persuade their clients to push the case further on appeal. However, the solemn pledge we normally make is to always work assiduously with the required speed to dispose of all cases that come before us. By the grace of God, under my leadership, that pledge will be tenaciously held and justice will be dispensed without fear or favor. In line with our commitment to the speedy dispensation of justice, we have put in place the relevant mechanisms to fast-track the administration of criminal appeals and quick dispensation of interlocutory appeals. The Nigerian Police Force and other security agencies involved in our criminal justice administration system are trying in their own way, but concerted effort has to be made to enable the wheel of justice move faster. They must work harder by devising more modern methods of getting credible and reliable evidence before framing their charges so that extra work will not be added to the judges. In most cases, it is when the trial commences that they now begin to look for evidence. This act is not only condemnable, but also a major cog in the wheel of speedy justice delivery. It has equally accounted for the high number of cases pending in the various courts across the country. This has now made it germane for our entire criminal laws to be comprehensively appraised and updated so that those outlandish aspects that are no more in tune with modern trends can be updated. The public space has been replete with varied forms of debates at different fora as to whether the Nigerian judiciary is actually independent or not. In the course of these various engagements, discussants always assess the situation from different unrelated perspectives, and that has largely accounted for the often conflicting solutions proffered at the end of each dialogue session. The Nigerian judiciary, to a very large extent, is independent in conducting its affairs and taking decisions on matters before it without any extraneous influence. At the Supreme Court, without mincing words, we are completely independent in the way and manner we conduct our affairs, especially in our judgments. We don't pander to the whims and caprices of anybody. If there is anybody to be feared, I must say with full confidence that it is only the Almighty God. We will never be subservient to anyone, no matter the position or influence in the society. Nevertheless, I will make it clear to whoever that cares to listen that when the Nigerian judiciary is assessed from the financial aspect, we are yet to be free or truly independent. The annual budget of the judiciary is still a far cry from what it ought to be. The figure is either stagnated for a long period of time or it goes on a progressive decline when placed side by side with the current realities in the market. Prices of goods and services are not getting less or friendly to buyers, while at the same time, our purchasing power is abysmally low and weak enough to transmit on the same wavelength with the market forces. The only thing I can do at this juncture is to plead with the other arms of government and allied agencies to clear all the impediments so we can enjoy our independence holistically. This is a clarion call to the other two arms of government to make the funding of the judiciary a major priority. Our extremely poor and pitiable salary package has become another major issue of concern that equally has to be attended to with the urgency it requires. With the advent of high-profile information technology architecture, there is no more secret anywhere, so details of our total pay package is visible in the public domain. You can all access it and offer your opinion on the true financial state of the Nigerian judicial officers. With the quantum of work we do, both day and night, it is just a matter of fairness and reciprocity that we go home at the end of the month with something that can match the over-increasing expenses. We don't have to work like elephants and feel like ants. I must make it clear that we will never go to any arm of or agency of government cap in hand to get what is rightly due to us. So many events have taken place within the judiciary recently that may have served as eye-opener to all of us. If for anything, the Nigerian public has been able to know and appreciate the plight of judicial officers and other workers within the fold to now know exactly what to do to better our lot and place us on a comfortable financial pedestal to be able to discharge our statutory functions effectively and efficiently. For a long time to come, if nothing tangible is done to solve this problem of paucity of funds and poor wages of judicial officers, the issue will continually occupy the front burner of all public discourse. The welfare package of judicial officers has to be adequately taken care of, especially after retirement. The comfort of my brother justices in various courts across the country is one of my topmost priorities, and I will pursue it with the seriousness it deserves. Retired justices of the Supreme Court should be accorded the benefit of annual medical treatment locally and internationally. If the need arises to go for foreign medical care, the subsisting poor medical care has accounted for the increasing deaths of most of our retired justices and even serving justices too, as they often retire into penury and without any befitting accommodation to rest their frail nerves. I wish to call on the relevant authorities to begin to consider the necessity of building quality houses for retired justices henceforth to cushion the hardship they are often exposed to in respect of accommodation immediately after retirement. Most of us usually serve the government up to a period of 40 years to 45 years before retiring from the bench. Thus, no amount of reward-based appreciation is too much for this painstaking service to the nation. Let us retire in peace and also live in befitting accommodation in peace. The strict adherence to the tenets of the rule of law is a critical aspect of justice dispensation that has to be observed at all times. It is instructive that if there are no credible machineries to enforce the law and resolve disputes, people instantly resort to illegal means. What is taking place in Nigeria today is an affirmation of that. We must, therefore, appreciate the fact that justice is a handmaiden of true peace. In every dispute or disagreement, once a party is unfairly and unjustly treated, disaffection is inevitably counted and stoked, and anything untoward could happen thereafter. The cause exists to guide against such unpleasant occurrences. Hence, we must give justice to everyone based on the facts before us, and not the faces or connections that beckon at us. We firmly uphold our allegiance to the Constitution and our God. so we can never feel intimidated while doing what is right. We sincerely have to begin to take a comprehensive approach to justice and rule of law in our individual capacities. This is a task for us all in the criminal justice chain, particularly the lawyers, police, Nigerian Correctional Service, prosecutors, as well as other emerging issues beyond the criminal justice system. It is necessary to let you know that since my appointment as Chief Justice of Nigeria, my focus has been on reinventing our processes, providing speedy and quality administration of justice, strengthening our structures from the Supreme Court to other courts of records, and stamping out corruption and all forms of underhand dealing from the system. The National Judicial Council has been working assiduously to weed out those who have refused to change from our fold, and we will not relent. Any reported cases of unethical behavior against any judicial officer will be handled with all the seriousness and urgency they require. We shall not rest on our horse. I must leave the Nigerian judiciary better than I met it. With the full support of all my brother justices and the support staff, we shall succeed. My lords, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say that the rank of senior advocates of Nigeria comes with immense prestige, dignity, and greater responsibilities as well. Traditionally, those conferred with the rank automatically become members of the inner bar and revered apostles of the temple of justice. It is an honor no conferee can afford to toy with. The Legal Practitioners Privileges Committees took time to screen and assess all the relevant documents submitted by the applicants before arriving at this decision. I can confidently affirm that the committee has done an excellent job. The 2018 guidelines for the conferment of rank of senior advocates of Nigeria required high standards of merits from all the applicants vying for the award. Every requirement contained in the guidelines was observed before arriving at the final list. The number of applicants for 2022 Senior Advocates of Nigeria Award is 174. Out of this number, 111 are advocates and 63 are academics. The total number of qualified applicants after the preliminary screening is 129, comprising of 73 legal practitioners and 56 academics respectively. After conducting the specified screening and filtration exercises, which include a number of appearances in superior courts, recommendations by Honorable Justice of the Supreme Court and Honorable Judges of Superior Courts, chambers inspections, approval on eligibility and illegality, integrity of the candidates from the Nigerian Bar Association, Body of Senior Advocates of Nigeria, and of course, the general public, amongst others. The LPPC came up with 62 successful candidates who, by all standards, can be regarded as eminently deserving of the rank of Senior Advocates of Nigeria. Out of this number, 53 are advocates, while 9 are academics. On behalf of my learned brothers, justices of the Supreme Court and members of the Legal Practitioners Privileges Committee, I congratulate the 62 successful senior advocates that have just been sworn in. Your success did not come on a platter of gold. You have worked for it, so you deserve every privilege, honor, and pride that come with it. The LPPC deserves enough commendation for endorsing the elevation of these 62 legal practitioners who have equally demonstrated dexterity and excellence in legal practice. As senior advocates of Nigeria, you carry on your shoulders a lot of responsibilities. You must display enormous integrity, discipline, and impressive standard of advocacy as ministers in the temple of justice. The privilege you are conferred with today does not make you extraordinary beings. You must still remain who you are, except the added status which is expected to serve as a key moderator of your attitude and behavior. You must be reachable and approachable as well, because the young lawyers need your mentoring and guidance, while the court needs your presence and contribution to effective justice delivery. The Nigerian Bar Association has been very active in the pursuit of justice in the country. The leadership of the association has maintained a mutually beneficial relationship with the bench, and that is quite encouraging. I want to use this occasion to congratulate the newly enthroned executive of the NBA, led by Mr. Yakubu Mkiao, SAN, with the pedigree and opulent experience that you are bringing on board. I have no iota of doubt that your tenure will bring a lot of good things to the table, and the NBA will be better for it. I sincerely thank everyone that has come here today to witness this special session heralding our new legal year. We are very grateful for your presence, even at the expense of your busy schedules. I also wish to express my gratitude to the Honorable Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Mr. Abubakar Malami, SAN, the Chairman of Body of Senior Advocates of Nigeria, Professor Nwabwese, SAN, who is of course ably represented here, the President of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Yakubu Mkiao, SAN, and the spokesperson for the newly conferred Senior Advocates of Nigeria, Professor Kathleen Ebelechuku Okafor, SAN, for graciously accepting our invitation to address this August gathering. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.